Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy. Thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, Rich Vinci is going to be with us talking about consultants in the workplace. He has a great topic this evening, as he always does. He really thoughtful. He's been at it for better than almost 40 years, so he really knows what he's talking about. Um, we lately have been beginning with gratitude, 10 seconds of gratitude. What are you grateful for today? You can't be unhappy when you're grateful. So think of three things you're grateful for. Go. Your family, your kids, your job, your beautiful day. Just be grateful. Be grateful for the opportunity for us to be together. Be grateful. Frankly, I've been uh, making a habit of that at least two or three times a day. Perks you up. This evening, I'd like to continue and finish up us talking about recruiting a particular candidate and what an employer needs to realize when they're recruiting a candidate. We talked about the past couple of weeks what a recruited position should look like. We talked about last week what a what a recruited candidate is faced with and the things that an employer should be aware of. And we wanted to finish that up. First of all, we mentioned the fact that a recruited candidate is happy in what he's doing, he or she is doing. They're not looking for a job. Psychologically, they're not involved in contemplating a job or changing jobs, and you have to take that into account when you go to recruit them. It's important to realize that a recruited candidate you should involve, if you're going to recruit the right way, you should involve the candidate's family. The higher up the position the more it goes, the more you should involve the family of the candidate. It's not uncommon to have a candidate to get all the way to the altar on a job and then have the family have a serious concern about the change of jobs, the change of locations, the change of a lot of things. So smart employers will, when they go to recruit a candidate, involve at least a spouse, if not children. But it is important to take into account the feelings of the family and how they feel about a change. It's one thing when the candidate's got a change, feeling of changes, but it's another thing when the family does. Be ready for counteroffers. I think we've mentioned this before, but 9 out of 10 times a recruited candidate is going to get a counteroffer, and you better be ready for it. Don't think that your job offer is so outstanding and so unbelievable that you're not going to get a counteroffer and that the candidate is not going to get a counteroffer. So be ready for that and start talking about that. We talk about that in another number of sessions, how you should be ready for a counteroffer on the part of the candidate, that he's going to get a counteroffer and you should be ready for it. Be ready for a cultural change and make sure that the culture of your organization is a step up for the candidate. Because somewhere along the line, the uh, beauty and uh, the the um, enamor and the honeymoon of the new job is going to wear off, and the candidate is going to be blessed or stuck with whatever culture your company has. Make sure the candidate is aware of the culture of the company and he or she gets used to understanding what the culture is going to be, because the culture is going to outlast the uh, honeymoon of the job. Make sure that there is a place for the candidate to go. not just the job you hire him or her at, but that beyond the particular job, there's a place for the candidate to grow, not just that particular position, but other positions, and that there is a good cultural, but also professional progression beyond the job, so that he or she sees a future, and that indeed the future is as good for him or her as the particular position that you're hiring them to do. Realize that reality is going to set in somewhere along the line, and part of this new position is going to be a job, and be prepared for that. We call it work for a reason. It is tough. It is not easy, and it becomes a challenge. In fact, if it's worth the job at all, if it's worth anything at all, it's going to be a tough move, and it's going to challenge the individual, and the individual is going to be challenged by the new move. And if the person isn't challenged by it, it may have been a lateral move, may not have been worth anything. It's got to be more than just money. It's got to be more than just position. It's got to be personal growth. That's what you really have to focus on. In the final analysis, what we all have to do is grow in the jobs that we have. If we're not personally growing in our jobs, in our future, in what we do, we're going to eventually be bored. We're going to eventually not be incentivized by the job. Money is merely transactional. It comes and it goes, and it's how we become and how we grow in the job. And we've got to be certain that the the there's a personal growth pattern in the position that we hire the candidate for. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.